Him. There. Gistra points to a man at the bar. He's got a sword strapped to his side, which is already a bad start. What's worse is that he's clearly there to meet a set of friends, who all greet him in an exalted wave and a customary exchange of insults. And what's it he's got, I ask? Silver coin. In his pocket. Something foreign? No. Stamped with the late Emperor's face. I bring out a silver coin with the Emperor's face on it. Next item. I press it into her hand. Give her credit, she looked it over. But inevitably, she shook her head. No. Tune is all off. Has to be his. This tune thing sounds like some made-up mysticism to get my face caved in. I'm no pickpocket. Better learn quick, or we'll have to waltz right past the Leshan army. If you want me to stitch you a spell, I need essence. Invisibility is no easy thing. Requires the finest ingredients. She clasps her hands around my face and turns my head to regard the red-faced, red-shirt, armed man. He looks dangerous. I try to think of a way I might isolate him. He was in Saren colors. Maybe important. Looked new, too. It's singing to me from here. It's so loud. The things pass through the hands of 10 dead men. It's perfect. Exactly what I need. The essence for the stitch. You're going to add me to that list if you force me into this. It really would be a good idea to travel with a thief. I shake my head fervently. Don't trust him. That doesn't wet in my line of work. And this is the price you pay for your caution. I ignore her barb. You think a round for the whole bar would cost the silver? Gistra shakes her head. Maybe top shelf, but he's not committing to that. Oh, she paused. That pause sounds alarming. She squints her eyes. This will be bad news. He keeps it as a luck charm. Pulled it off a guy who attacked him and, well, died. How do you know that? It's saying it to me. I meet her eyes. It's clear she believes what she's saying, that the coin across the room in that man's pocket talked. What's my silver say about me? I nod at the hand I'd pressed my substitute into. Gistra rolls her eyes. Beautiful, brown, infuriating things. It's not your silver, just as you are not its man. But nothing you want to hear. A thought crosses my mind. Can ore rat? They lie more than thieves do. How do we know this one ain't lying? Trying to get me to commit to something stupid, to make me the 11th dead man? She shrugs. We don't. All right, well, I sigh. Here we go. I dodge through the bar traffic. Busy place tonight, considering there's a war on. I get to the counter, sliding in right next to the man with the chatty oar. Fuck. I get a good look at his drink on the bar. Some of it had sloshed out. He's drinking fucking water. Who the fuck drinks fucking water at a place and a time like this? There's a fucking war on. I look up. The barkeep is looking at me expectantly, while I'm looking at the cup of my unsuspecting neighbor. I put a little dirt in my voice. I was gonna say I'll have what he's having, but after a look, I don't think it'd agree with me. I turn to the mark, and with a bit of pity in my eye, I say, Can I get you something to put a shine on you, lad? A man in the Saren colors is a man with reason to drink. I'm going to ignore that comment as the speech of a coward. The war is far from lost, he replies. He even sounds level-headed. I was hoping his voice would have more grime to it. Something. It's all looking like the worst possible case so far. Don't be too hard on him, one of his friends chirped. This was the grime I wanted. Doesn't look like he'd last too long in battle. My brand of fighting wasn't suited for this kind of thing, but I didn't see another way to get this done. I had to start a little scrape. No one lasts in battle, I taunt. Barkeep puts down the drink in front of me, and I partake. Slam the empty tankard down nice and boastful-like. Barkeep's got a look now, like he knows he's going to be sweeping up teeth a bit later on. Ain't no skill to it. You're either lucky or you die. I try a little slurring with my last few words. Few things are more annoying than the prattlings of a drunk. I suppose you'd say that right to Ekon's face, then, the mark accosts. General Ekon. Hopefully I would be saying that to his face 3 days hence. These lot would piss themselves if they knew. He ain't good, he's just rich. Got a bunch of well-armored men around him. Ain't no glory in it. It's all bullshit. One of the group slams his fist on the table. Sounds like you ought to teach him a lesson, Reich, he says. What a stuck-up name. Reich. Ekon's out there fighting for you, and you're sitting here drinking, Reich cuts. He grabs me by the shirt and pushes me towards the door. He was so eager to go to swords for Ekon's honor that it occurred to me I might have been able to tell him the truth of why I needed the silver coin and traded him for it. Too late now. He shoved me out the door onto the street, flanked by his buddies. Slow and Stupid whinnied when they saw me being thrust out of the tavern. They pulled against their harnesses and stamped in place. A stranger might see an animal ready to fight for his master, but they almost certainly wanted to bolt. The cart was the only thing that stopped them. It weighed far more than their loyalty. I picked myself up. No swords, I said. Reich undid his belt and handed it to the right. I don't plan to kill you, Reich boasted. Just teach you a lesson. Reich wasn't going to win this. Not by himself. He didn't know it, but I'm a courier. That cart attached to Slow and Stupid? That was bound for Ekon, my payload. He squared up. His form wasn't bad. It wouldn't surprise me if he had some sort of house training. He seemed well off enough to be able to afford it, and with conflict abound these days, it would make sense that he knew something of brawling. But he had nothing on courier arts. He landed a square blow on my face, but I caught his arm on the retract. I snapped it down towards my feet. His posture was leaned forwards. I moved to the side and wove my leg past his far shin, pulling him and catching his foot, trying to balance. We were level on the ground now, only I knew how to operate here and he didn't. He lunged at me. This is what instinct will tell you to do, particularly if you're stronger, which he was. But it was a mistake. I caught his chest, wrapping him up. His arms were flailing, trying to get a punch to my face, but he was too close to connect anything that mattered. My legs were folded beneath me. My base was solid as a tree trunk. He fought against my grip for a little bit, holding himself up against my weight, pressing backwards. He lasted longer than someone with less strength would have, but, like they all eventually do, he fell to his back. It was much less dramatic than a fall from his feet would have been. A fall from your knees to your back looks a whole lot less devastating, but trust me when I say this, it can be downright lethal. I was on top of him now. His legs had no presence in the fight anymore. The legs are the body's strongest muscle. If you lose those in a fight, you just lose the fight. He kicked and thrashed them, but just using my weight, they did nothing more than flail and expend energy. I looked at the crowd of his mates. I had to make this quick. Courier arts in a bar brawl like this are not flashy. They look like cheap bullshit, and it was only a matter of time before the others intervened. I couldn't get into his pocket from this angle. I needed to transfer onto his back. I used a technique my teacher called weaving chainmail. Resistance was strong at first, especially in the arms. He fought me as I used my weight to lay his arm out. Like metal bending, it became much easier with a little bit of work. Eventually, his arms were tired and as malleable as red-hot iron. I turned his body under me, using my knee as a fulcrum and rolling beneath him, bringing my arm across his neck and locking my feet around his waist. I was on his back now, and I even had a free hand. If I apply too much pressure to your neck, you're going to pass out, I whispered as I took my free arm and fished for that talkative bit of ore. It was a lie. I needed 2 arms to get him to pass out, but he didn't know that. I wondered what that silver coin would say about this pass of hands. Reich was coming to terms with the fact that he couldn't move. He thrashed his legs more. That didn't work. Then his arms. Nothing. Get him the fuck off me, he called to his mates. He's not trying to fight me, he's trying to fuck me. This was trouble. 1-on-1, just fists. Courier arts can't be beat. But many people don't know that because fights usually don't happen that way. I rolled off him, shot to my feet, fistful of coins clutched tightly. I just had to pray it was in there. He fucking robbed me. Everything paused for a second as they all comprehended. I took this moment to tuck the change into my trousers. Then they charged. I danced around a few of them. A lot of them were plenty drunk. That required just a little bit of off-balancing. Reich, though, he threw me into the side of my own cart. Slow and Stupid both yelped. I did too. You know what we fucking do to thieves? Reich seethed. He looked rather unhinged. I suppose the day wasn't going great for him. His boyhood hero was insulted, and the guy that did it not only immobilized him in a fight, but robbed him in the process. He had a hatchet, and he was a level of angry where he was going to use it. Consequences be damned. He brought it down. I pushed myself away just in time. It landed on my payload. You don't fuck with the courier's payload. The wood of the only fucking crate I had to deliver splintered under the strike. I brought a hidden flat knife off my thigh. I cut a sizable gash across his cheek. It was a sting that looked intentional, but the truth was, I missed his neck. I reiterate, you don't fuck with my payload. The knife was a bad idea. It signaled to the rest of them that it was on. Each of them pulled out some kind of flashing metal off their belt. There must have been about 6. 5 if you count the inebriation handicap. All of them were armed a hell of a lot better than me. I looked for Gistra. Not only was it clear that she wasn't going to help me, she was running the opposite damn direction. Less loyalty than the damned horses. They didn't know that the cart was mine. I could just bolt and come back when the... Fuck. I looked at the crate and the cart. The only thing in there worth a damn, and Reich had hit the latch. It had fallen open. It was a fucking sword in there, and it was too damn fancy. Shimmering silver crossguard with gold etching. Even a damn sapphire in the handle. Exactly what something for Ekon would look like. Someone who had seen me fight was going to put it together that it was mine, or they were going to steal it because it was just too damn shiny. I couldn't risk it. I had to dig in my heels. Payload over everything. That's the job. I didn't have much time to debate the ethics of defending the payload with the payload in regards to the professionalism of my trade. I pushed Reich into the mud, dodging a half-crazed axe swing in the process. I planted my foot on the cart and yanked at the hilt of the blade. There was no weight to the damn thing. It pulled out and caught some of the torchlight. These fucking aristocrats are gonna get me fucking killed for a goddamn ornament, I shouted. I was feeling quite maligned by the fates tonight. The blade was made out of glass. Bloody glass. At best, it could take one blow from steel. Reich swung with the axe. Instinct took over and I blocked with the flat. I couldn't believe it, but the axe bounced right off. It must have hit the wood shaft. If nothing else, the thing was sharp and light. I whipped it across my body. I got his neck this time. Killed over a goddamn silver ore in his pocket. He was worth at least a gold ore, maybe even 2. Ended by a decoration, I lamented as his neck sneezed out blood. He sank to his knees and was quick about it, the kindest thing he'd done for me that night. I turned to the rest of them. One of them was coming at me with a proper sword. I reflexed the block again, with a glass blade. Maybe that ale was stronger than I thought. The man followed all the way through with his swing. So that's how I die, I guess. Wait. He looked at his sword funny. And then the pain didn't hit. I didn't feel the warmth of my own blood. I look at his blade. It was shorter. The glass sword is still in one piece. I'm still in one piece. What the fuck? Wright's mate tried to go in with his fist. I lifted the sword. It cuts clean through the man. He wasn't in armor, but not even the finest steel could have sheared through a full-grown man like that. The rest of Reich's mates dropped their weapons and back away. Some friends.